Modifications of the mold. Modifications of the mold tool is an important part of the mold design. MoldWorks has tools to modify the mold on several levels, while still preserving the coherence of the mold. On the component level, we can modify their positioning by editing the positioning sketch. Selecting the screw in the graphics area highlights the component in the MoldWorks Feature Manager tree. Clicking right-hand mouse button on the screw and selecting Edit Position opens the sketch. Using the sketch tools, we adjust the dimensions. Adding points will add components. Deleting points would delete the connected components. Moving points by modifying dimensions moves the respective screws. Notice that the preview is dynamically updated. Closing the sketch will update the component positions. Still on the component level, we will edit the screw parameters. Again, selecting the component and then using the right-hand mouse button menu on the screw and selecting the Edit menu. The Add Component dialog is displayed with the current screw parameters, which can be modified. Here we change the screw diameter to 12. The screws are updated accordingly. Next, we move to the plate assembly level. We edit the base plate sketch, which controls the plate layout. We modify the sketch length to 596 millimeters. The extended sketch is centered around the plates due to the equations which were created, and on exiting the sketch, the plate assembly is updated. Notice that the components are not moved. You can move them with the positioning sketches as shown before, or through the Edit Mold Size menu to be shown later. The cooling cycle is corrupted since it does not automatically update. So we use this opportunity to show how to modify the cooling cycle on different levels. Here we show the technological structure of the cooling cycles under the MoldWorks Feature Manager tree. Notice that on each level we have a set of menus pertaining to modification of the information on this level. We choose to edit the cycle position sketch. The system edits the sketch and goes into preview mode. Selecting a sketch endpoint and moving it dynamically updates the preview by extending the pipes to the plate faces. Furthermore, we can add segments with the sketcher, and the pipe cycle updates the previewed pipes dynamically, even showing collisions when they occur. We delete these extra pipes by deleting the segments and close the sketch. The cycle is updated, including the connectors, and the system returns to the edit cycle mode in order to allow more modifications. Cancel to see the corrected cycle. For the second cycle, we will use the rebuild function to correct the information from scratch. As before, we remain in the edit cycle mode and modify the O-ring to a smaller radius. Which is shown in red as a warning. Runners and gates has a similar structure of runners with gates attached and right-hand mouse button menus at each level. Editing the runner and gates works on the same principle as the heat exchange, including the modification of sketches. Next, we show the modification, or rather complete recreation of our mold with a different mold size catalog using the Edit Mold Size menu. Here we show a preview of the 5080 mold. If activated, the complete mold would be modified to the new size, including the movement of the components and the reconstruction of all the added components up till now. We have cancelled this option and instead will show the option of increasing the support plate thickness through SolidWorks double-clicking on the plate. Usually a catastrophic modification necessitating the recreation of the mold. Notice that after rebuild, the mold plate coherence is preserved. However, the components are not in place. We use the Recalculate Component menu and select the plates affected, which in turn selects the components. Clicking OK will initiate a process which we call healing. It modifies the components in order to suit the new mold height. Finally, a browser dialog is displayed, allowing you to browse through the healed components, showing the components that cannot be healed in red. At any stage, the component can be edited with the standard MoldWorks Edit Component menu. After making a necessary adjustment, we are returned to the Browse dialog. Notice that the ejectors have been automatically adjusted, i.e. lengthened to suit their functionality. Finally, we activate the process and the components are modified. The updated mold.